Hi friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. My name's Jonathan. I make luxury videos, unboxings, and reviews. And today I thought we would talk about Louis Vuitton and what I ultimately decided to get for my birthday. So let's get into it. Before I get started with today's video, I would really appreciate it if you can hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help my channel grow. I make videos every other day about Louis Vuitton. So if you like that kind of content or simply want to see more of me, then definitely hit that like and subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. So last week was my 33rd birthday, and I wanted to take a small opportunity to thank each and every one of you who reached out, wished me a happy birthday. I had a really great time. Granted, I did have to work for majority of the day, but my coworkers decided to take me out on a patio, and so we got a couple of drinks and just caught up. It was a quite relaxing end to my birthday day, and usually for my birthday, I like to get myself a new handbag. And so for this year, I had asked you guys to help me pick which one I should end up going with. And truth be told, full disclosure, I actually did not purchase anything yet just because looking at the collections that are coming out and looking at all of the Instagram posts that are dropping, it's so much monogram. And I don't know what happened within me, but there was like a switch that flipped. And right now I have a lot of monogram in my collection. And so I'm trying to actively stay away from adding more monogram. And so the options that I did put up on my community post, which I do very much appreciate all of your votes and all of your suggestions, were quite monogram heavy. And so I ultimately decided that I don't think I'm going to get any of the bags that I listed on my community post, and for these reasons. So for the monogram side chunk, as much as I absolutely love that bag, I love the detailing of the monogram around the edges of it. I love how it historically looks like a trunk that Louis Vuitton makes, and it just quintessentially looks like something that would be in any collector's collection. However, I kind of wish that it wasn't in monogram because of the fact that I have so many monogram bags and I added quite a few monogram pieces into my collection this year. I kind of want to dip my toes into more Damier handbags like my Speedy. And so I'm hoping that Louis Vuitton comes out with a Damier version of the side trunk just because that is what I would love to get. I would absolutely love a Damier Abine one, or even like a Damier Graffiti. That would be super cute. And even the mini side trunks don't come in any Damier patterns, they just come in monogram. And for the price point that I'm going to be paying for that bag, I believe in Canada it retails right now for 5,350 Canadian dollars. I kind of want to have something that I absolutely love. And I'm not shy of any handbags. So I feel as though now I can start to be a little bit more picky as to which bags I add into my collection now. Just because I have all my classics, I have all my staples. And so any more bags that I'm adding into my collection, I feel as though I could be a little bit more mindful for. So once Louis Vuitton comes out with a Damier version of the side trunk, you best believe it'll be on this shelf. Moving on to the second item that I was contemplating, and that was the Mini Mal Bijou. Unfortunately, the picture that I posted was not the right one. That is in the Dune color. Was not looking to get the Dune color. Was looking to get the traditional monogram. However, that just is not available on the website. However, I have seen the piece in person. My client advisor at Yorkdale did show this piece to me, and that is how I became aware of it. And so ultimately, as much as I would love to have a trunk piece in my collection, that trunk just isn't the right one for me. Granted, it was at a very, very affordable price point for Louis Vuitton trunks. As you might be aware, some of those larger pieces can range from like 10,000s to even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so this trunk that I was looking at, the Mini Mount Bijou, was slightly under $10,000. It was about 6,750 Canadian dollars plus tax. So it was under that $10,000 mark where I can have the itch to have the trunk and still not spend a fortune, just because I had purchased my P9 this year, and that was the most I've ever spent on any luxury purchase aside from my car, if you count that. And so I realistically cannot be dropping 10K bags multiple times a year. So I will have to save that kind of larger purchases for another time. So under 10,000 is kind of like my sweet spot. And so for that one, I was honestly contemplating it just because, as much as it would fit my current jewelry, I would definitely have to have another side jewelry case as well, just because that would be maxed out. And for $7,500 after taxes, I feel as though it should be able to fit my current jewelry plus a little bit more for future acquisitions. And so, because of that reason, it's ultimately why I'm deciding not to go with that piece. Moving on to the third item that was on my community post, and that is going to be my Keep Ball 45. And this one was in Damier Graphite. So, the reason why I am yet again not pulling the trigger on this piece is because of the fact that I haven't been doing much traveling. And as much as I say that, I still go on a few trips every year. I do go to the cottage once a year, and I do some small weekend trips here and there. So it's not that I don't do any traveling. I'm just not as much of a traveler as I would want to be. So that's why I haven't pulled the trigger on this keep ball. Granted, this bag is increasing year over year, and so it's going to get to a price point where I'm just gonna totally forget about it, just because this is a regular duffel bag. And for right now, it is, I believe, retailing for 34.50 Canadian dollars. So it's almost about 4,000 Canadian dollars before sales tax. And for that much money for a duffel style bag that I'll only use for a couple occasions throughout the year, I just don't know if it is really worth the price points. So I don't know. Maybe I will find a vintage one, but then again, most of the pre-loved keepalls are all in monogram. I do see some in Damier Ebene, which I would absolutely entertain, but it is just a larger size, like the 55. And my friend Mandy, who I will link down below, she suggested to me that she would prefer 50 over the 45. So that is what I need to consider myself. I've only ever researched the 45. I know that I could get the 50 and it'll still be able to go on the airplane if I so choose to do so. So definitely have to keep that in mind. But right now, the Keepall 45 in Damier Graphite is still going to stay on my wish list. And last but certainly not least, the fourth item that I put on my community tab that I was contemplating was the Petite Mal in regular monogram with black leather trimming. And so, for reasons why I am not adding that one into my collection, is because I have recently seen a bunch of them pop up on the pre-loved market. I've seen one on a Facebook marketplace group as well as Oliver Jewelries, and they are like 60 to 70% off of retail and are still in very, very great condition. So I have come to terms with, do I really want to spend close to $10,000 after sales tax? The Petite Mal would be around $9,500, I want to say. And so, do I really want to spend close to $10,000 on a Petite Mal where I can get a really great conditioned one? The ones that I've been looking at just have minor scuffs on the hardware and interior staining, which I could which I could totally be comfortable with the which I could totally be comfortable with the hardware tarnishing. And the interior depends on how bad the stains are, but the ones I've been looking at just seem to be regular, like dirt. So for that to have a huge savings of about 6,000 Canadian dollars, I just don't see how I could justify buying it from the store, because that is a huge amount of savings. I can buy that Petite Mal from Oliver Jewelers and then have $6,000 to play with on other things versus just spending the full 10,000 at Louis Vuitton and having it brand new condition. I'm just not sure it's worth it. I know the Petite Mal has historically never held its value well, and I personally have not been looking to buy and add handbags into my collection that will be investment pieces. I'm just now starting to use more of my pieces. And so I want to actually use the Petite Mal so I know that the hardware is going to get scratched and I know the interior might get a little bit stained. So I feel as though that one I am definitely going to be looking at in the pre-love market. And I have seen so many cute petite mouths from limited edition collections that I could possibly add as well. So that way I don't have to necessarily just stick with monogram. I know there are a lot of petite mal videos that I've been researching and watching. So I don't know if it's just my algorithm just showing me a bunch of them, but I've been really loving all of the limited edition ones that I have been seeing. So even going the pre-loved route, I don't have to limit myself to just the two options that I currently like at Louis Vuitton, which are the reverse monogram one as well as the traditional monogram. However, with my whole anti-monogram phase right now, that's why I haven't really decided to pull the trigger on those ones, as well as the cost savings that I could get in the pre-loved market. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed today's video. So as I mentioned, I don't think I'm going to be pulling the trigger on any of my birthday purchases this year. There's just nothing at Louis Vuitton that is grabbing my attention. Aside from pocket organizers, those things are just always going to have my interest. However, in terms of handbags, there's just nothing that's coming out that is going to grab my attention. I know that the new collection for the fall winter 2026 just dropped, and those are just so heavy on monogram, even for those new silk technology bags. Super interested in those, but they are just all monogram. And so I would like to add another bag into my collection this year. However, I'm going to try my best to make sure that it is not monogram and it is in the Damier canvas because I absolutely love that canvas. And Louis Vuitton, if you're watching this or listening, please make more bags that are in the Damier canvas. I know you guys did Damier Azur in the springtime. However, what about the Damier Abine? We love that canvas and we absolutely want more bags. So with that being said, if you like this kind of content or simply want to see more of me, then definitely hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.